Welcome to another episode of Alicia's Delicious Dishes, where Alicia teaches us how to spend hundreds of dollars on ingredients and still manage to make food that looks and most likely tastes like the scraping from a farmer's boots. This week, for Around the World Night, she managed to offend the entire population of Japan. Well done, girl. I feel like she's trying to insult the whole world with her cooking. So far, she's offended like 73 countries. Surely that's a record. Anyway, the first lesson from Alicia is to never tie your hair back when you're cooking. That way, any loose ends and that will just go straight into the food because you want that extra flavour. Don't wear cooking gloves. And never roll your sleeves up because you want your sleeves to be dipping into the food so that any fibres, dog hair, fluff and germs go straight into the cooking for added textures and flavours. Also, make sure you print out your recipes onto multiple pieces of paper so you can carry on your work of annihilating the polar bears and wasting as much trees as possible.
This cup is wet. Although I'm rinsing it, so I don't really know why that matters.
Yeah, so if you get a measuring jug out of your cupboard and it's got moisture in it, it's alright if you leave it. Even if it's rat's piss, you don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter, just leave it. Or wipe it with a dirty tea towel. Then put your rice in a sieve and just wet it for like 5 seconds so people think you're washing it. Honestly, I don't know what the point in that was. Now she's making the sauce. So she's carefully measuring brown sugar into a measuring cup, then pressing it down. So we don't even know if the measurement was accurate or not. But at least she's put all the germs from her scabby fingernails into the sugar. Now she's adding some garlic. She's using a teaspoon, but making sure she gets as much as possible on the spoon because you want to waste as much garlic as possible while making it look like you're actually following the recipe. Next, you've got to add some ginger. Put it on a spoon, measure it, then just pour the rest of the jar in. Because at this point, who gives a fuck about measurements? Then throw a few more random ingredients in because she couldn't find the right ingredients. So she just substituted it for whatever she wanted.
Where was I? Honey, 4 tablespoons of honey.
So she needs 4 tablespoons of honey. But who needs a fucking tablespoon when you can just pour half a bottle into it? Because, you want to add a lot of things that'll rot the kids' teeth so you can keep the dentist in a job. She's always thinking of others, Alicia. Then you stir it and heat it up.
This measuring spoon because it has all the different measurements on it. Teaspoons, tablespoons.
Oh, that's amazing. All the measurements. Teaspoons and tablespoons. Fucking hell. Why have I not seen this amazing spoon before? You won't need kitchen scales or measuring cups and jugs anymore.
See, I'm going to use this because I need more.
Yeah, I'm sure you need more pans, Lishy. 103 pans is never enough.
So, I need 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil, which I don't have. We're going to use canola oil.
That's right, Lishy. Just use whatever you want. You don't have to follow the ingredients in the recipe. I'm sure it won't make any difference. Oh, look, she's using that magic spoon again. Next, she adds some rice vinegar and more sugar because, support the dentists.
That's as thick as I'm going to get it.
Yeah, this is just a thought, Lishy, but maybe your sauce isn't thickening because you put normal flour in it instead of corn flour like the recipe says. Now she's magically appeared with her hair tied back. Maybe she heard me before. I know you're watching my videos, Lishy, because your copyright struck me like a poisonous dwarf. Now look at the hobgoblin putting the meat onto a skewer. Look at the way she's chopped that meat though. Looks like she's grated it with a cheese grater. Watching Lishy put this meat on them skewers reminds me of the film Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where all the skins are hanging on that pole. It's like a scene from a horror movie. It's fucking terrifying. It doesn't help that she looks like Leatherface.
No, I don't know. I know.
That was Harley saying she doesn't like the smell. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I doubt you're gonna like the taste either, little one. Never mind, you can have some Velveeta later.
You don't know.
Now she's making a sandcastle. Oh no, she's trying to empty the rice. But it's turned into one congealed blob. Because she's messed it up like she messes up everything. So she just went to Google how to properly sort this shrimp out, like to make it flat. So she knows you have to devein it. So for the first few, she did actually take the vein out. But for the rest of the shrimp, she left it in. How does that make sense? So now they're all going to have shrimp full of shrimp shit and toxins because she's left the intestinal tract in. Fucking minging. So next you put the toxic shit infested shrimp in a batter. Then put it in a fryer. You just stick your hands right in the fryer. It doesn't matter if you burn your fingers off. This is the part we've all been waiting for, where Alicia shows us how to make sushi. So at first you put your seaweed onto the rolling thing and add some rice. You don't have to measure it, just fucking put shitloads on. Then you add 1.5 crab sticks. Make sure you mess about with the crab sticks as much as possible. Just maul them as much as you can so you get all the bacteria from your fingers onto the crab sticks. If you drop some on the floor, that's fine. The dog will eat it. Because you all know it's best to have a dog in the kitchen when you're cooking, you know, for hygiene reasons. Now you saw her expertly roll that sushi. Now she's cutting it. Look at that flawless piece of sushi. It looked so good that Eric Cartman from South Park came along and scooped it up to scoff it. Now she's trying a piece herself and pretending it tastes good. You all know she's going to be sick as soon as she finishes filming. Now she's chopping the rest of the sushi up. But when you get to the last piece, just don't chop it, doesn't matter, you just leave it big. The scruffier it looks, the better. And make sure whilst you're making sushi to shove stuff in your mouth as much as you can. Touch your mouth and all. Just touch everything. Touch everything you can so you get as many germs on it as possible so you can spread it around your family.
A little less rice.
A little less rice, she says, whilst putting on more than she did in the first place. Oh, look, Eric Cartman's back again. So Eric has just drained the noodles and now he's just like eating it with his fingers and biting it and put the rest in the bowl. You need germs from as many people as possible for this dish. Then just give it a quick stir with your fingers.
Reject sushi.
It's hard to tell which ones are the reject sushi and which ones are the ones they're going to use. Next, just wet your hands so people think you're washing them. Then open this massive tin of chicken broth. And listen carefully because this next bit's very important. Do not warm it up. Just pour it cold from the tin over your noodles. And whatever you do, don't measure it. Just pour it in. That's the correct way to do this delicious dish from Alicia. And that's it. Easy as that. Let's look at how it turned out. Not gonna lie, Alicia, the kebabs and the shrimp look a little bit well done. She's hid the miso soup at the back because it just looks like dirty dishwater. Moving on to the sushi. So she did some vegetables ones as well, where she put like one tiny grating of carrot in each piece of sushi. It looks alright from a distance, but you can see close up that the dogs had a go at it. And thank God she ordered in dessert because the kids are not going to eat that shite that she's just been cooking. So she ordered in a massive amount of dessert sushi and bubble tea. Because what else would you have for dessert on Japanese night other than a drink that originated in Taiwan?